In your house, host Grunmeister laying the Smackdown. Top rope, high flyer, got the latest news on standby. In your house, Grunmeister talking all the shit. Grunmeister covering the news. 1, 2, 3. Ring the bell, it's time for Grunmeister and all the Smackdown reviews.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smackdown Review with Grunmeister. I am your host, Grunmeister, and we've got some stuff to talk about with Smackdown. Smackdown from last week was, I would say, mediocre, kind of good. It had some good matches. They had, first they had Cody Rhodes to open up the show, calling out, basically calling out Solo Sikoa, saying he's not the tribal chief, that he will not beat him at SummerSlam, and confirming that it will be in the main event match. And in a different world, in a different time, we probably would see Gunter Priest main event the show rather, or Drew versus Punk with Seth Rollins as special guest referee main event the show. But the rumor mill has been running wild for months on when is Roman Reigns going to return, and it has only gotten more interesting because about a month ago it was being reported that Roman Reigns would return before SummerSlam, or that he might. We are just over a week away from SummerSlam. 8 days. 8 days away from SummerSlam. And there is no confirmation that Roman Reigns is returning. And yet, the way they're pushing the Bloodline story, there is no way he's not returning at SummerSlam. He will absolutely be there. And that's going to be very interesting. But Cody Rhodes got interrupted by the douchebags, A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, because they were mad that the Bloodline attacked them, so they're going to complain to Cody. That is very interesting, or just shows you that they're wusses. They're not going to fight the Bloodline, because right now, this iteration of the Bloodline, they're animals. They're not beasts. They're not monsters. They're not predators. Solo Sikoa may think himself and his new Bloodline faction as predators. They're not. They're wild, savage animals. There is no respect in what they do. There is no honor. There is nothing that makes me believe this man's a leader. He just got a whole bunch of psychopaths together to do his bidding. It's not a leader. Roman Reigns had Jimmy and Jey Uso. Even when he was doing brutal things to, I think it was Jey, because if I remember correctly, it was Jimmy was out with injury. Jey was the one who was kind of lost. Roman influenced him to join him in this endeavor. Wasn't quite the Bloodline yet. Jimmy comes back, and Jimmy is listing off all the things that Roman Reigns has done to Jey. Jey, he doesn't know what to do, because Roman's family, Roman is blood, and he knows that Roman is only looking out for him. He knows that there is good intentions behind what Roman Reigns does. The intentions are for the family, not just for Roman. Roman benefits when the family benefits. Was Roman And Roman, yeah, he got upset a lot when things did not go his way, when things did not go the way of Jimmy and Jey Uso, when they did not go the way of Solo Sikoa, he got upset, but he was calm, cool, and collected. Solo Sikoa is not that. He's demanding that people acknowledge him as the tribal chief. And man, if you haven't figured it out yet, I will never acknowledge Solo Sikoa as my tribal chief. He is a friend of the In Your House Wrestling podcast. I am aware of that. He's been on the show long. It was sometime before I came along. So, hey, look, I'm glad that he was on the podcast. I'm glad that he helped out House. He helped out Hypocrisy. He helped out the guys. But I don't have that connection with you, Solo. Okay, so whatever you do, like, you ain't gonna convince me that you are tribal chief material. And yeah, A-Town Down Under attacked Cody Rhodes. I have no interest in these guys. I don't see what they can bring to the table. And I know that booking has been has been a question of sorts recently with WWE and how they are booking people. And I can respect that. I think that we are just in a state where you have Cody Rhodes, where, like, yeah, his story, the story is over, but now it's time for the next chapter. And that's what we're doing. We're writing the next chapter for him, and we're leading to we're working towards the end of the Bloodline story. Because clearly WrestleMania 40 was not just the end of one chapter for Cody, it was the end of one chapter for the Bloodline. And we have been seeing a new chapter being written right now. And I think the next chapter is starting at SummerSlam, and this current chapter is ending. Roman Reigns, I'm almost certain he is going to show up at SummerSlam. Tonight or next week, we will probably see someone deliver a message to Solo Sikoa. And I think this was one of the guys, I think it's Maven House, who said this, and I like it. I like it, House. Whoever it is, I want to give that person the credit. What was it? Losing has consequences. The exact same thing Solo Sikoa said to, I believe it was Jimmy and Paul. And this is where Solo is going to walk in. He's going to think that he owns the yard. We're going to see him wrestle again like Roman Reigns. You can tell how much I want to talk about the Bloodline and not SmackDown. Just because the Bloodline is absolutely the best thing going. But I'll stop myself from talking about the Bloodline right now, and we'll talk about the first match from last week's SmackDown, which was Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. And this match was very good. You got to see Carmelo and Andrade show how athletic they are, how good of wrestlers they are, how good they are performing in the ring. This was a phenomenal start to the show. Unfortunately, Raw had a better opening match. Like Andrade and Carmelo, like they really did have a great match. Raw started with Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker trying to kill each other. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was the greatest match, one of the greatest matches of the year, probably. It's just an opener to Raw. Well, not just that, it was for the number one contendership to the Intercontinental title. But I mean, Andrade picked up the win here. here after a long and hard fought battle. It was, like I said, like this really was a very nice presentation. Yeah, Carmelo's racking up losses, but I mean, at the same time, he is slowly building up his stock. He's showing that he can work with other people, that he's showing that he can accomplish the goal that needs to be obtained. Andrade is racking up wins, which is very good. I don't know where they're going with these guys. I'm assuming that they're going somewhere with them. It's a shame that WWE is not renewing the contracts of Bobby Lashley or MVP, because I really think that they could have gone with Hurt Business 2.0 on SmackDown with Street Profits, B-Fab, and Carmelo Hayes. And I don't care. Like, make Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, I imagine he can still wrestle because of how good he looks. He is like, the guy's almost 50, and he still looks like he's in phenomenal shape. As far as being mobile in the ring, he's probably not as mobile as he used to be. But it's like, dude, like, how do you guys miss the opportunity with Bobby Lashley twice? And Bobby Lashley, he said he's not done wrestling. He's probably going to go to TNA, honestly, maybe New Japan. I don't know where they're going to go, but AEW is interested in making a Hurt Business 2.0. We had our first women's match on the show that had some story to go with it. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven were basically racing Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill to Nick Aldis's office, who at this point he's probably was in his office, but neither team wanted to wait for their chance to talk to Nick Aldis. What they wanted to do instead was have Chelsea Green fight Bianca Belair, and whoever won, I guess they're going to get to talk to Nick Aldis now. And it was a short match. I was rewatching it. I'm like, oh, this match was like 10-15 minutes probably. It's like, no, it was 3 minutes, maybe less. And I'm like, yo, why you doing my girl Chelsea like that? Why you do Chelsea dirty like that? Like, come on. Like, they had a bit of a shoving match. Chelsea tried to hit the Unprettier early, and unfortunately, Bianca Belair, and I don't want to talk about say it like I wish Bianca had lost. I just want to see more Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is a phenomenal performer. Bianca won with the TKO, and as she and Jade were celebrating in the ring, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who each week wears even more scandalous clothing, came up onto the Titantron because now they're full heels. They're not in Scotland anymore, and enough time has passed from Alba Fire's mother passing away in a tragic car accident, that they can be heels now, and that they can really display what they can do, what their characters are. And I think I liked it when they dressed a little bit more like witches, I think. Their promos, I think, overall are good, but their message was basically that they were going to be on SmackDown tonight, actually. The question is, of course, are they going to give them the title match, or is Nick Aldis going to force them to defend? My guess is that Nick Aldis is going to force them to defend, since I don't think they've defended since, what was it? No, not Money in the Bank. It was, was it? No. What was it? Whenever they won it in the Clash at the Castle. Of course it was Clash at the Castle. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that, seeing how that story progresses. And this next story, apparently WWE just said we're gonna push the gas on this one. LA Knight and Logan Paul had a contract signing for their United States Championship match at SummerSlam. Logan Paul was called out by LA Knight for how LA Knight pinned him in the ring 1, 2, 3 in their qualifying matchup for Money in the Bank after LA Knight had been allowed into Logan Paul's home and was just chilling in his pool. And now, and Logan Paul is saying how he likes LA Knight, likes the gimmick, he likes the character work, he likes what LA Knight does and how he is. What he doesn't like is that LA Knight thinking that he can be Logan Paul. And let's be honest, no one wants to be Logan Paul. Logan Paul right now, he's one of the most hated men in pro wrestling today. Yeah, but Logan Paul had heard enough crap coming out of LA Knight's mouth that he finally decided to sign the contract. And just when you think that they're not going to have a brawl, LA Knight runs back into the ring after he's already started walking away. He's already stepped out of the ring, runs back in to fight Logan or LA Knight. And this should be a solid match. This should be a very fun match. We're definitely gonna see LA Knight actually had a backstage segment after that with Santos Escobar, who was the third man in that qualifying matchup for Money in the Bank. And he mentioned to LA Knight that he never got pinned. So now tonight we're going to see Santos Escobar and LA Knight face off. Santos Escobar doesn't think it's a good idea for LA Knight to fight him so close to his United States Championship match, but LA Knight is tough. LA Knight doesn't care. He's going to do whatever he's got to do to prove that he is worthy of being United States champion. I'm sure he believes he's worthy, but now he's got to shut down these naysayers. Michin was then on SmackDown again, and she had a match with Tiffany Stratton, where Michin was able to defeat Tiffany thanks to a distraction from Bayley, as Bayley destroyed the briefcase. So tonight we should finally get the bedazzled pink rhinestone, pretty like a princess. That's Money in the Bank briefcase. It's probably gonna look very girly, but you know what? Like, I'm all for it because it needs to look girly because it's gonna work. It's gonna look so good with Tiffany all the time. And I think specifically for that reason, they're going to hold on. She's going to hold on to that briefcase for a while. She's not going to cash in for some time, maybe for another 4 or 5 months, maybe we'll see. I do believe that she's going to cash in, and I wouldn't be shocked if it was a successful cash in. But because of Michin defeating Tiffany and a lot of outside interference from Bayley and Nia Jax, they are now having a tag team match tonight. Michin and Bayley teaming up to take on Tiffany and Nia. This is going to be very interesting because I don't know who do you have win here. Our main event match was a tag team match from last week. A-Town Down Under versus Cody Rhodes and a partner of his choosing. Cody Rhodes did not have Randy Orton to call upon, and I was doing a watch along with Scott Hulett of Heated Shenanigans and Alicon House of In Your House Wrestling Podcast, and we were hoping that they would pick someone inspired. They would have an inspiring pick. It would be a great reveal. And I don't want to say like I don't like this wrestler. I do. He's so much fun. He is so fun to watch. He is great in WWE. He is great with everything. Every time they try and they've given him like something that wasn't really that good, he's done his best with it. And like you gotta love this guy. His partner did end up being Kevin Owens. They revealed it just by Cody walking towards Gorilla in the backstage area still, and then Kevin Owens just walks into frame. And it's like, I'd rather Cody came out and then you sit, and then we're sitting there waiting, and you're banana, na na na, na 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 na, now, and then crowd, you get the crowd to pop a bit, and you get Kevin Owens appearing all pissed off, ready to go, ready to fight. And they actually ended up winning. However, winning doesn't mean anything. Not when the Bloodline are around. The Bloodline immediately hit the ring, attacked everybody, specifically Owens and Rhodes, and did the same thing this week that they did last week or the week prior. They left Owens in a pile of scraps and pieces of the commentators table while they forced Cody to watch. The Bloodline is trying to be the most dominant force on SmackDown, and I think they are succeeding for the time, but the issue becomes what happens when your animals, the Tongans, and your Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, what happens when they start getting their own goals and they start doing things without your permission? Why should they listen to you because you're tribal chief? Like, the message you've been sending is that we do what we want and we take what we want. That's been your message, Solo. Your message has not been that we are like a mafia family. Maybe you should go talk to Tony D'Angelo. Maybe he could tell you how to run a family. It would definitely be really nice to see the D'Angelo family come up on the SmackDown. Tony, I don't know everyone's name, but I love Tony. Tony's good. Oh, that was it for last week's SmackDown. And tonight, the show should be opening with a, what is this? WWE Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders Gauntlet match. And it is featuring the tag teams of Kit Wilson and Elliot Prince, Pretty Deadly, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the OC, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, Angel and Garza of Legado del Fantasma, the Franken team of Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin, which they're honestly a better tag team than they have any right to be there. In a perfect world, I would have rather these guys win, but I don't think they're going to win, which sucks. And the final team is the Tongans, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. What some people may not know is that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa have been tag team partners for the better part of 10 plus years. Maybe someone who's more familiar with New Japan can comment and make sure that I'm up to date with my facts on these guys. This is a tag team, but these guys are used to tag team wrestling, and they're used to tag team wrestling with each other. So regardless of where you put them in, you can put them in at the #1 spot and have them go through just bulldoze the entire competition and submit their dominance and continue to push how dominant this force is. I know the Street Profits, they're trying to get them more TV time. They're trying to get them to be a big deal again, and it's like I don't know why it's been taking them so long to put the tag team titles on them, because it's like they, or at least put them in the tag team title picture, because I'm not saying that I want DIY's reign to end anytime soon, but like Street Profits versus DIY, like that sounds like money to me. I like it. Even if you have Street Profits win, you know what? I think that's good. You could have a little feud with them and DIY. This could be how you turn Street Profits heel and get and rejuvenate their careers. Should be a great match. But the other team I got my eyes on are pretty deadly, because they just recently came back. I think I do believe one of them was injured, and like I can see them. In the past they've proven that they're sneaky, that they are not afraid to take underhanded approaches to winning matches, which is probably a big thing that helped them become NXT Tag Team Champions. So, I really don't. I'm probably gonna have to go with the Tongans. I think Tongans have got this match in the bag. This should be probably the first 45 minutes or maybe the first hour of SmackDown. Like I'm cool with that. Like I really don't need anything else. You've also got, like I said earlier, LA Knight going to war with Santos Escobar. LA Knight, he's got to get the win, and like he's got to pick up this win and the win at SummerSlam. Otherwise, he's dead in the water. That's my opinion. What I believe to be our main event match: Bayley and Michin team up to take on Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Now, let's talk about this. You have Michin, who on NXT, she's not been picking up many wins. However, on SmackDown, she has been making her presence known. And you have her tag team partner, the WWE Women's Champion, and Bayley. They're taking on Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, and Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax, who is the #1 contender to Bayley's WWE Women's Championship, and will face Bayley for that at SummerSlam. What do you do here? Because I think this is where you give Bayley and Michin the win, because while they have been building Nia up as this unstoppable force, which she absolutely is, you have Tiffany and Michin there who can take the pin. And I think, like, unfortunately, I'm starting to think that there is a curse with the Money in the Bank briefcase, because apparently it's either you get injured or you start taking losses. And when you hold the Money in the Bank briefcase, you can kind of afford to eat losses, because you got the briefcase, and you can get the momentum back real quick by a surprise cash in and win. And with Michin, like, it seems like that they want to do more with her. It seems that they want to have her accomplish more in WWE at this point. And I really don't know, like, what are they planning on doing with her? But I think you're going to have Michin pin Tiffany while Bayley and Nia are brawling outside the ring. I'm not seeing anything here about Cody making an appearance, which is definitely interesting, but I'm sure Cody's going to make an appearance somewhere on the show. And we'll probably see or hear from the Bloodline as well. And I don't know what they're going to do with it, because like we're at a point where the Bloodline storylines, like it's like most of us, I think, know what the next chapter is and know that it starts at SummerSlam, and we just cannot wait any longer. We want to get there, but we got this week and we got tonight's show and next week's show, and oh god, I do not know what's going to happen, but I guess that's going to wrap it up for the Smackdown Review Preview Show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening wherever you are.
In your house, host Grunmeister laying the smackdown. Top rope, high flyer, got the latest news on standby. In your house, Grunmeister talking all the shit. Grunmeister covering the news. 1, 2, 3. Ring the bell, it's time for Grunmeister and all the Smackdown reviews.